this has been one of the rainiest, most miserable summers I can think of since last year. Last year was like this. It would rain off and on through the week, and both days of the week. It's freaking ridiculous. So it's kind of fitting that in order to get any sort of riding in, I'm riding to do chores on a Saturday morning at 9:24 to go pick up a missing contact lens. By that, I mean pick up a replacement for my missing contact lens. Had them just over a week, and I already lost one because I am an idiot. I'm also autistic, and I'm currently riding. So that's where the name of the channel comes from. Though it's not always going to be riding my motorcycle. Sometimes it's going to be driving my car. So that's why I chose driving while autistic. So yeah, riding and driving has always been kind of my form of therapy. Even before I knew I was autistic, I was diagnosed just a few months ago. And of course I'm 42, so I mean I've been autistic my entire life, but just didn't know. Anyway, I'm on a couple of medications for anxiety and depression as well, and they seem to be kind of leveling me out a little bit, which is nice. But I've noticed that since I'm not as depressed, I tend to trash talk, get angry quicker for some reason. I don't understand that, but it is a side effect of one of my medications, is irritability. That's what they call it. I don't know if that's what I'd call mine, but anyway. So while acknowledging that, and noting that I've always had a little bit of, I wouldn't necessarily call it road rage. I tend to really dislike bad, inconsiderate, or inattentive drivers, because even before I was, a bike rider, still, it's still putting my life and everybody else's at risk when, people are driving like assholes. So I guess I just demonetized myself there, but there's a lot worse that I could call it, and probably will. insurance and get like a week follow-up. But I had a really, really, really rocking toothache. I've been having some trouble with my wisdom teeth for probably the past 5 or 6 years now. And it's been it's been kind of frustrating trying to get into a dentist since COVID. So many places have either closed up or just not admitting new patients, or I don't know, whatever. And so it's been tough to find a place that would take, our dental insurance and stuff. Finally found a place. Have an appointment. I think it's next week. Don't know if it's Thursday or Friday. I'll have to check the card. For a consult, I guess they'll kind of see what needs removed, and I don't know, maybe take x-rays or whatever. I don't know. I'll just be so glad. I've got 4 that need to be taken, and then I have a cavity where one of them was growing like forward, instead of up, and it cracked one of my molars that has to be repaired. Which I don't look forward to. At the same time, I'll be glad when it's done, because I've never really I had problems when the wisdom teeth were first starting to break through the skin. It hurt, like itched, sort of. I guess it's like what happens when a baby's teething. It just hurts, itches at the same time. And that's kind of what it started. Jeez, that's a serious crosswind, y'all. That's kind of what it felt like yesterday. And so, yeah, I'll be glad when it's taken care of, finished, over. Good grief. I mean, it may not look windy by the tree gauge. That's, what I call it when, look at the leaves and see them blowing. It may not look windy according to that, but my head begs to differ. This is probably this preached a terrible idea, but I really wanted to ride. I haven't been able to ride all week. Yeah, it's rained up here recently, so that sucks too. But we'll deal with it. In the spirit of full disclosure, since this will be the first video I'm posting on this channel, my bike is a 1983 Honda VF750C Magna V45, whatever you want to call it. It's basically a sport bike engine on like a cruiser style frame. It's and motorcycle. I wanted something. I'll be honest. I wanted a Sabre more. It's still got an upright sitting position. The Interceptor honestly has an upright sitting position. Oh, wait a minute. Let me back up a little bit. Yeah, I didn't want to get a motorcycle just to have a motorcycle. I wanted to get a motorcycle that I always kind of had a soft spot for. And growing up, my dad had a deck of cards that he got when he bought his 1983 185S Honda 3-wheeler. And I always thought that 3-wheeler was the best. It was cool. It had front suspension and all that rad stuff. And anyway, he had the deck of cards, and on the cards were, various models that Honda made. And, this was on there, Interceptor was on there, Sabre was on there. So, I mean, the cards were rad. And I grew up looking at them, looking at the three-wheelers. There weren't really any four-wheelers at the time. But, always just thought they were rad, and then as I grew up, I realized that, they weren't regular. They had a different type of engine. Looked it up, researched it and stuff, And that's just kind of what I wanted. And it is my first bike. It's a 750. It's a little bit excessive. But I mean, it's not the fastest bike on the road, don't get me wrong, but it's also a 1983, so brakes, suspension, all that good stuff is of its time. I have made some upgrades. I've put in stainless clutch line, one-piece clutch line, stainless brake lines, a few things like that to kind of, well, there's not really too much you can do. I've got good pads and rotors. I mean, it doesn't stop like a modern bike would, but I've only had one serious crash, and that wasn't due to the brakes. That was due to somebody putting cinders in the inside of a turn in late October and hitting that at 35 or 40 miles an hour. Broke my collarbone. I've been lucky. I've, just like everybody else, I've done some foolish things. Sometimes, not all the time though. By and large, I just like to go out a couple times a week, ride for fun. And I figured, hey, since this is my form of therapy, I'd show people kind of what it's like to ride a, let's see, 42-year-old motorcycle around my area, which is Tazewell County, Mercer County, Tazewell County, Virginia, Mercer County, West Virginia. And right now, I'm going to the optometrist right up here. But yeah, I kind of wanted the Sabre a little bit more. It looks a little bit more modern. Couldn't find one in my budget. And the only one I could find was actually really way too nice for a first bike, for one, and for two, it was a V65, which is the 1100, and even I am not that irresponsible. That's just a leader bike for your first bike. That is, really bad idea in so many ways. This bike has, I think it had around 70 something horsepower new, so. Alright, let's find us a parking place. This will do. And we'll be right back.